Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Tea Time with Twisted. I'm Beth.
And I'm Erica.
Meg is out sick today. She's been ill for a couple of days.
Yeah.
So Erica has agreed to step in and sit down with me, and we're going to have our tea time, just the two of us. Erica, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about what you do here.
So, as of late, I have been the one to respond to majority of the emails, as some of you may know. I also prepare the yarn and get it into cakes for you guys, so that way when I get ready to ship it, it's ready to go when you get it and receive it. And you can start your projects and...
Yeah, it's a last little check-in we've got before it goes out to you. So last bit of quality control, making sure the color's right, making sure there's no knots or tangles or anything. So it's beautiful when you get it and you get to get started right away. So thank you, Erica, for sitting in. Otherwise, I'd be out by myself. So we've got a ton of stuff going on today. And with Meg not here, I know in my newsletter I said that we would be in the mix lab going over some cool dye techniques and some things about mixing and why dye does what it does, but that's not me. I don't do that part of this job. So without Meg, we can't do that. But I promise the next time that we do a tea time, we will start in the mix lab, so you'll get a little bit of a behind the scenes kind of thing there. But I thought we'd start with club. Our club boxes just went out for shipment 2 for the Knitterary
Club.
The Knitterary Yarn Club, which is what we're calling it this time around. And the colors this time are pretty amazing.
They're absolutely beautiful.
Thought we'd give you a little sneak peek into the box itself and see what we've got for our month 2 people. They come with a colorway card, just like last month. That one is Enthralled. And this one
is
Bewitched.
I'd say it's pretty bewitching.
It is. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So they're similar but quite different when it comes down to it. Enthralled on the top is a brighter, more saturated, full of color. The one on the bottom also fully saturated, but more of a less teal and more true blue. Think
it's a little more muted.
Yeah, think Jane Austen period dress.
Yes.
As opposed to something a little bit more modern and full of more vibrant color. Kind of what I'm wearing now, but not that color at all. So everybody got a colorway card. If you were in the Trust Me Club, you got some special new yarn, which we'll talk about in a minute. We call it Zaftig, and we're testing it out for our club only. And are you guys caking some samples of it now for month 3?
Absolutely. It's very soft.
Yeah.
It's very, very nice.
It's a merino cashmere silk, but it's super wash, so that's pretty cool. Of course, I started to write down notes about it, but I left it on my phone, which is filming us, so we'll talk a little bit more about that anyway. If you're in the Trust Me Club, you got a pattern card. This is called Salt. It's 2-sided. There's a little download pattern on the back for those who got it, and it's a great project for the new yarn Zaftig. Let's just show you a little bit more about the colors, and then we'll talk more about Zaftig in a minute. The other thing everybody got was a tote bag. Even if you were in the sample club, sample members got them too. It's a library card because it's the Knitterary Yarn Club.
It's my favorite.
And it has all of our different Ravelry IDs on there. Here's me, Twisted, B5. Here's Meg. Here's Erica. Erica Marie, was it 94?
Yeah.
And then, if you look at the bottom, can you hold that side of it?
Oh, absolutely.
Let's push it up there. If you look at the very bottom, there's a blank spot. So, get out your Sharpie, club members. Put in your Ravelry ID, and you can be a part of the Twisted team, officially.
Yes.
So, in the bag, you would have gotten your samples, one of each.
Yes.
And your cake of yarn. Now this one is Bewitched.
Yes.
That
Which I'm actually wearing right now.
And that one, it looks quite different. This one is Ariel, 100% superwash merino. And this one is Zaftig. And it's the salt pattern. You want to take it off so we can show them? Zoftig is an Aran weight yarn. It's very bouncy. It's very textural. You can put it up close. Meg chose this pattern because of all of the knits and purls in it, and it really shows off the definition of each stitch very, very well. It's very bouncy, has a super tight twist, and it's really dense. It's a lot denser than you think, so it's a heavy yarn.
It is.
You put it on and you're instantly warm. The silk helps with that a little bit too, so does the cashmere.
And the color transition too is just gorgeous.
And that one is Bewitched.
Yes.
And that's the pattern Salt. So to do this pattern, I've been getting a couple questions about it. The pattern itself calls for something like 630 yards.
Yeah.
The Zoftig cake, the extra large that we sent, was 360 yards. Seems like it shouldn't work. It totally does. Meg used a size 10 needle, cast on, knit exactly in pattern with no changes whatsoever until she got to the very end. And then she bound off when she ran out of yarn, and that's it. It's approximately the same size as what is pictured on the pattern card itself and in the pattern. Because it is a different gauge yarn, and because we use a different size needle, it worked out just beautifully. You may bind off before you get to the end of the pattern. Don't worry about it. She picked a pattern that's very repeatable, something that is easily adaptable, so you just keep going and you stop when you stop. If you have any questions and you're in our club and you're doing the Salt pattern, please reach out to me. I've spoken with the designer. She's willing to help whenever possible, and if we can answer any questions, we certainly will. Yes. Or Erica will.
Please
if you
feel
send
free
it
to
to
send me an
goods.
email. So
goods@twistedfiberart.com. The two of us, between the three of us, between Erica and Meg and I, we'll get your question answered. You want to show the other colors here?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so this is the rest of Bewitched. You can hold them up one at a time, especially the self-striping. It's interesting to see next to each other.
So which we'll start with. So the self-striping,
Get it right up close.
it's really, really nice, I think. It's one of my
I think
favorites.
it's really soft looking.
It is
It's
very
not very
soft.
stripy. I mean, it's very stripy, but it's very it flows very gradually from one color to the
Absolutely.
next. So that's gorgeous. And then that's Bewitched, and this
Is Enthralled.
much more vibrant.
Yes.
Much more saturated and pop of color, which makes sense. It's the Pop Fiction colorway. The colors are almost candy.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. That's a good way to describe it,
Yeah.
I'd say.
So
So it's,
those are the two colors this month for this shipment. You can put your shawl back on if you want.
I'd love to.
I'm just gonna leave those. All right, so that's the club. Size 10 needle, Salt pattern, Zoftig extra large. Just keep knitting. Club members, you're gonna get a sample next month. And really, post club is what determines whether or not one of these new bases comes into our regular lineup.
Yes.
So it does the same kind of thing as the color wave. That's how we gauge if in a year or so, once we've gone past that benchmark,
Yeah.
whether or not they can come back again into our regular lineup. Same goes with the base or the yarn itself, but we don't have the restriction of waiting a year for that. So if everybody seems to like Zoftig, you know, fingers crossed, because it's my absolute new favorite. I have a shawl I made in it just for testing when we were trying it out. I wear it almost every day. Today I decided to wear my shrug, but I've been wearing it since it came off my needles almost daily. It just is just such an awesome, bouncy, heavy base. And with Michigan weather,
You never know.
yeah, we need it.
So, yeah, just give us feedback.
Yeah,
on
we really
what
wanna
you think. All the feedback that we can get would be extremely helpful.
Cool. We've got some sales coming up. We've got free shipping starting
December
on Friday.
Friday.
No, for Black Friday. So
Oh, yes.
free shipping and double points starts Friday through Cyber Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And then, our model sale
That
is in
starts
December.
December
Oh, I
8th.
know what the other thing is. We've got grab bags.
Yes.
Last year, you guys went nutso for the grab bags. So we thought we might as well do them again. We've got a lot of stuff that we can put in them. Each bag is worth double the value of the cost. So if it costs $25, you're sure to get at least $50 worth of merchandise, yarn included, and other goodies, whatever we can find that you think you might like in the bag.
Yes.
And it goes up from there, from small, medium, large to treat yourself. So that's going on, and it overlaps with the free shipping, double points. So if you want them like ASAP, get them now and get your free shipping to save even more. Okay, moving on. Our model sale, that's what started this whole conversation. We never ever sell models, but we're going to this time. We're going to do it as a Facebook album sale. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Facebook album sale.
So there'll be an album with all the pictures of each.
Right, just like we do
each
with
model.
the yarn.
Yes.
And then you'll comment on the photo, and you comment sold and
Yes. You say sold, and
Something
then
else.
you put your email, so that way
Oh, right.
we're able to reach out to you, so we can get that shipped.
right.
and
And if
ready to go.
you've bought from us before, chances are we have your address, and that's not going to be an issue.
Yeah.
But if it's the first time that you're buying from us, or maybe the first time in the Facebook sale, you may see that we will contact you
Yes.
to get your shipping information.
Yeah.
But those will go out quickly. And in fact, we're doing it early enough that hopefully you'll be able to wear your new
Just around
garment.
Christmas time.
Yeah, for your
Yeah.
parties or
New
you
Year's
know,
even.
New Year's Eve, yeah, or your holiday, the office holiday party. You can say, "Look what I made," but I didn't really. All right, this one was I was on. It's hard to see because it's clear behind. I featured this one in the newsletter last week. The colorway is Phantom. I'm not going to show you all, but I picked 4 of them just to show you kind of a sampling of what we're doing. I went outside on the first day of snow here at the studio out back, and I took a picture of this one on the model. It's Phantom colorway. The name of the pattern is Maribel by Karina Ferguson.
It's absolutely beautiful.
It has a really cool edge on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
You
all
guys
one
can
piece, so it doesn't look like a
that?
stripe. Okay, so there's that one. Here's another cool one. This one is in our Minstrel colorway. It's called Troubadour. It's by Nim Teasdale, one of my all-time favorite designers. She can use an evolution like nobody else. In fact, this one looks like a stripe, but if you look carefully, you can see that it is knit from the inside and the outside of the same cake of yarn. So it kind of alternates back and forth, and then it meets on the edge in the center of the cake of yarn. It's a really cool technique. So you kind of get 2 evolutions running side by side. Easy to wear. It's got a nice big wingspan. It's just beautiful. Here's another one. This is the colorway Manitou. It's our Michigan themed colorway. Manitou for the Leelanau Peninsula. There's a legend of sleeping bear.
Yes.
And Manitou is the god in that legend. So this is our Michigan colorway. This one is called something. Dactyl. It's called Dactyl, and it's by Larissa Brown. If you want to look that up. It's more of a scarf than a shawl, or maybe a shawlette.
Charlotte.
It just brushes your shoulders. It would look gorgeous with a little black dress.
Absolutely.
And for all those of you in cold weather, we've got a couple hats. This is one of them. It's the Divine hat. Don't I look cute? It's a crochet hat. It's by Sarah Arnold. It's just a cute little toque. Not very long.
Warm, definitely.
It's in our taffy colorway. Some of you might recognize it. It's our 2016 in-person colorway of the year. It was never available online. We may have sold a few cakes in a few different sales, possibly, but it was never online as part of our lineup. So that's kind of special. And we do have a couple hats as well. So that's just kind of an idea, some of the things we have. I don't know, there's probably about 15 or 20 items, so not a real ton of them, but just ones that we know that we're not going to continue to support at shows, or maybe we are going to support them, but we're having new models, maybe because they've been to a number of shows, so they're kind of ready to be. There's nothing wrong with them. If there are, we'll mention it in the notes, but I just looked through them all and I didn't see any snags or tears or rips or broken yarn. In fact, some of them might not even have the ends fully woven in because we just tack them back behind the models at the show when we try to get them up there fast. So that, I'm sorry I didn't write down the date, but I think it's December 8th.
Yep, December 8th at 3 p.m.
3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific.
Yes.
That seems to be working for us. It's easy for me to remember, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. So that's what I think when we're going to do most of our things. That's when this is going to air today. And we try to do our sales on a Saturday to accommodate so that nobody's at work or anything. When it's going on. Oh, we will do a longer preview for that. Usually we do about a half an hour preview for the cakes of yarn. We're going to do a longer one, maybe a couple hours, so that people can really take a look at them and see if that's one that they want. Just have your lists ready. I anticipate them all going within minutes.
Definitely. So be there.
Be there on the nose. Ready to go, know which ones you want, and it's going to be fierce competition, so no backsies. Once you got it, it's yours.
Yes.
What else do we have to talk about? Oh, well, the last thing we had, I decided to ask a question on Ravelry and put up a little, I don't know, what do they call it, a thread? Yeah, to say, hey, if you got any questions for Tea Time with Twisted, let us know. Well, most of them, I can't answer. They're all Meg questions. Meg is the dyer. She's the genius. She's the color guru. I handle the business side of things. I'm great at selling yarn. I have fun knitting. I love participating in our community, but I am not a dyer. I do, however, know a little bit about how color works on the different bases we carry. So McFrazzled, hi McFrazzled. McFrazzled asked the question about comparisons, how different colorways look on different bases and why. I'll get to the how. I can touch on the why, and I can fill in any details next time if I miss anything. So let's see, I've got a couple here. Let's start with Le Cirque. Le Cirque is a black to gray scale yarn. You want to show the big one, giant one?
So this is our Bounty. As you can see, it's definitely saturated. And
fully
the color,
saturated.
So
vibrant color. Even though it's black, it is
very
charcoal and silver and very saturated. This is the same. This is Ariel. Same base. Smaller gauge. You want to put that next to it?
Yeah.
You can see they're very similar in color in the way that they take the dye. 100% superwash merino light fingering, 100% superwash merino bulky. Now, I'm going to you hold this one and I'll hold this one. Ariel.
And this is
that's Muse.
This one is definitely a lot lighter. It's not as saturated.
Way lighter. So Muse is a 50-50 silk merino. It's also non-superwash. So superwash, that treatment puts some chemicals into the yarn to make them color fast, or the color stays better in the yarn.
Yeah.
This doesn't have that chemical process, that treatment in the milling process, so it doesn't show quite as vibrantly as an Ariel does. Also, silk does not like dye. It doesn't, merino sucks it up like a straw, and silk doesn't. I talked to Fawn, she's one of our dyers, and I asked her to explain it a little bit further, and she said, you never really can tell how the dye is going to take on each base until you put it on. One of the things that Ariel does is that Muse does not, is that it sucks it up wherever you put the dye. So if you put a little splotch of dye on Ariel, it's going to just stick right where it is. If you put the same splotch on Muse, it kind of wicks out. So it kind of spreads out gradually and saturates in a more smooth or even tone way, where Ariel, you have to use more dye. You have to fully saturate the whole thing with dye in order for it to take color in all of the different places, because it just stays put. It doesn't want to spread. So getting a very nice transition on, say, Ariel is a little harder. It takes a little longer. The process is more involved. It takes a lot more manpower, hands-on time, woman power, to get a really nice evolution, gradual change in color without it being stripy on Ariel than it does on Muse. But Muse has other downfalls because it spreads. You know, making sure that the darkest end stays in the darkest end is also another thing. So you've got different issues with different yarn, different chemical reactions with the dye itself. And dye, it changes every time we get it. Our dyes are mineral based.
Yes.
So they're from the ground. And if you're digging a color in one area and it runs out and you have to find it again in another area,
it's going to be a little
bit different. So we will spend hours every week, what Meg refers to lovingly as reformulating, making a new recipe for the same colorway, because it's different. We have to change it. And we do mix every single time we dye yarn. So there's not really a batch or a lot.
Each one's pretty special in its own way, I'd say.
We do our best to be as consistent as possible, and we really do spend the time to make that happen. But sometimes we're more successful than others. And here's another really good example. This one's Unicorn. It's one of our newer colorways. I've got it here on 3 different bases. So what's that one? Ariel. So Ariel's always going to be the most vibrant.
Which is really pretty.
It's just gorgeous. Look how saturated it is. Look at that pink. It's like almost like a highlighter.
Like a fuchsia.
It's so beautiful. Now let's put that up next to Kabam. Kabam is our merino bamboo nylon base. Bamboo, like silk, kind of resists the dye. It doesn't like it as much as the merino, but it's got the merino in there. So bamboo, I always say, looks heathered. I don't know if you can get it close enough to really see that center. Where the color, it's kind of speckly, but not in a deliberate way. It makes it kind of a heathered. So it's soft, and there's almost a little bit of a relief. A little bit of white speckle. Nothing big, no big splotches or anything. It's an overall look, which is really cool. And then this
is Glamour.
It's Glamour. Can you see the glamour?
The sparkles, little.
Glamour is a merino cashmere nylon base. It is the same gauge or quite close to Tasty. If you're doing a project that calls for Tasty or a fingering yarn and you want a little bling.
And it's not coarse. The sparkle in it, it's all very soft.
The sparkle is actually Stellina, which is a nylon. So it's non-metallic. I mean, hint, we set our yarn in a microwave. Guarantee it's not metal. Non-metallic in any way. Super, super soft, so you just get sparkly cashmere. Anyhow, the cashmere softens the color. If you want to put that next to the Ariel. So just having cashmere in it is going to soften the color a bit. But then also the superwash is in both of them. So this one is going to be more saturated than the Kabam. Kabam is still lighter. It's really kind of hard to see, but if you saw this in person, you can really tell the difference.
Yeah, definitely.
Do we have one more? Oh yeah, I wanted to do one that was a little darker in color so you could really see what happens. And there's another kind of cool thing that happens to the dye sometimes that
Should we start
I think it's
with
fun. Let's
another
start
little
with Ariel. Let's just always start with Ariel. So this is Owl on Ariel. And do you see what's happening on this one? You see how you've got a little bit of yellow in the green and a little yellow in the brown. What's happening there is the dye is breaking. So it's not broken. But when we mix colors together, we use more than just one. It's not stock straight out of the bottle
Right.
onto the yarn. We have a formula that Meg carefully designs, and it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of that. And sometimes when you put it on the yarn, it breaks. So you get, this was green, green and yellow to make this outside color, and whatever other colors, probably 13 other ones. But the yellow kind of separated a little bit, which is kind of cool because it just looks really neat, and that's unpredictable.
Yeah.
So this one went into the shop. This one probably was destined for somebody's stash. It was for an order, but because it separated, it broke a little bit. We put it in our showroom so that, because when you're buying it and it's in person and you can see it and you can see how cool that looks, that's a little different, but it's not, I wouldn't call it a unique. I wouldn't call it a one-off or a second. It's still perfect, but we put it in the shop because then people can see it and before they buy it. Whereas if you're ordering online, this is a quality control thing. This is one of the things that Erica's looking for when she's caking up your yarn. It's not consistent with the color that we have online, and that's something we really work hard to maintain that consistency. All right, so that's Owl on Ariel. Let's go to, is that Yummy?
Yes,
Yeah.
This is Yummy.
So put that up there next to Owl, Yummy.
So,
You can see still quite saturated, right? Not even very much softer in color. If you can see, the overall feels a little bit softer. That's the cashmere, but the color is still pretty vibrant.
It's very beautiful.
Unpredictable. And then here it is on Glamour.
Which is much darker this time
It
around.
really is. It's super unpredictable. McFrazzled, I don't have a rule of thumb for you according to all of these examples. But I can say always silks and bamboo are going to be an overall softer appearance than merino and cashmere. Merino and cashmere are going to be more vibrant. They've both got the treatment, the superwash treatment, and they both just really like the dye. Silk and bamboo, as a rule, are going to have a little bit of resistance. Alpaca, I didn't bring out anything that's our wrapped base, but the alpaca mixed with the silk makes for another very soft color. So if you're looking for vibrancy, go 100% superwash merino, mix in a little bit of cashmere because cashmere.
Yeah. Everyone loves cashmere.
But if you want that softer look to the, not quite in your face color, then go with a silk or a bamboo blend.
Definitely.
I'd say as a rule of thumb, that's where to go. But as we've seen, it doesn't always go that way. All right. I can't think of anything else. I've been talking my head off. Do you have anything, Erica?
I look forward to hearing from most of you, and
Send her a message.
Yeah.
Tell her you liked what you saw. Maybe she'll do it again with us sometime.
Definitely. It's fun.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We hope to see you all very soon. We'll put another Tea Time with Twisted in the newsletter, and we'll let you know when the next one will be. After the holiday, I think, though.
Yeah.
Go eat some turkey. Bye.
Bye.